All right. We are live here on my Facebook page, going to be live on YouTube here in a moment. The Dallas Cowboys. First of all, welcome on into the Dallas Cowboys postgame show, hosted by yours truly, James Espinosa. You can find me normally on my radio home, News Talk KEYS, 1440 AM and 98.7 FM. Find me on the MIC Sports Network, where I do broadcast some Texas high school football on the weekly, Thursday and Fridays. This is the postgame show, Dallas Cowboys. I do this every week. I've been doing this for a few years. Let's dive on in. If you have any comments, get them into the chat. I encourage Cowboys fans right now to dive on in, get into the chat. Let me know your thoughts and your reactions to the Cowboys' just total ass-kicking of a defeat to the New Orleans Saints. Final score, 44-19. The Saints come into Dallas. They snap the Cowboys' 17-game regular season home winning streak, 44-19. And this wasn't even really a contest. This was, as I said, an ass-kicking of all ass-kickings. The Cowboys, who myself, who my co-host, Marcos, Alex, and Aiden, we all picked the Cowboys to win this morning. Last week, we all picked the Cowboys to lose. Last week, we all picked the Cowboys to lose, and the Cowboys end up winning. This week, we all picked them to win, and the Cowboys end up losing. Are we a jinx? I don't know. We just might be. We just might be a jinx to the Dallas Cowboys, but I don't really believe in that stuff. I know some of you guys will point that out. I will say this, though. Watching the game today was difficult. Watching the game today was hard. I thought that the Cowboys were going to come in and show what they showed last week in Cleveland. Show a team that's going to be dominating on defense. Show a team that's going to be ready to play, going to be flying to the ball. Show an offense that's going to be able to move the ball downfield with effectiveness. Now, the Cowboys' offense, for the most part, in the first half, they did move the ball downfield. They were able to put up points, but they weren't able to put up enough touchdowns because the defense today was the story. Much like it was last week. The defense last week, stellar. The defense this week, absolute crap. The Cowboys defense in this ball game gave up 6 touchdowns on the New Orleans Saints' first 6 possessions of the game. They were getting run through like a lady of the night on Leopard Street here in Texas, or here in Corpus Christi. It was pathetic. It reminded me of the Green Bay game, where the Cowboys defense gave up 6 touchdowns on the first 7 Green Bay possessions. The Cowboys defense had no answers for what Clint Kubiak, the Saints offensive coordinator, Derek Carr, and Alvin Kamara had to offer them. Kamara today went off. Talk about him. Alvin Kamara absolutely went off today for 4 total touchdowns, 3 rushing, 1 receiving. He was an absolute monster. The Cowboys were burned deep by Shaheed early on. He had 4 receptions, 96 yards, 1 touchdown. Derek Carr only had 16 passing attempts. 11 of 16, 243 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Carr and the Saints came in and just flat out whipped their ass. And it's disappointing to see, based on what happened last week, based on the national media talk, based on my sports shows talk on how we had the Cowboys winning this game. I thought the Cowboys were going to win by 20 points. Because I saw the Cowboys as a better team than the Saints. And you know what? The Saints threw it in my face. They threw it in everybody else's face. And they absolutely embarrassed and destroyed the Cowboys today on all fronts. I take notes during the game. I stopped taking notes at the beginning of the fourth quarter. There was no need to. The game was at hand. And looking at my drive chart right now, Saints possession 1, touchdown Kamara. Saints possession 2, 70-yard bomb to Shaheed. Saints possession 3, a 57-yard screenplay to Kamara, who takes it to the house. Saints possession 4, a 12-yard touchdown by Kamara. Saints possession 5, a 1-yard quarterback sneak, Derek Carr. Halftime hits, it's 35-16 Saints. Saints possession 6, a 7-yard touchdown by Kamara. The score was 41-19 at the time in the third quarter. The Saints ate up 7 minutes in the third quarter. If the Cowboys had any chance in that ball game, it was whenever it was 35-19. You're still down by 2 possessions, and then they end up, giving up that touchdown to Kamara. It was GG's from that point on. Nobody else scored other than a late Saints field goal, which made it 44-19. The Cowboys, couple of field goals to start the game, 52-yarder and 38-yarder from Aubrey. You had that big Lamb touchdown, 65 yards from Dak. Nice ball from Dak. Nice move from Lamb to escape a couple of Saints defenders. Possession 4, you had the Dak interception. Just, Brooks falls down. I'm not really going to pin that one on Dak. Brooks fell down in his route. Ball would have been on target. Brooks would have had a chance to catch that ball. It's intercepted. Aubrey gets a field goal, 48 yards in possession 5, 35-16. Aubrey gets a field goal out of half, possession 6, 35-19, a 40-yarder. Possession 7 for the Cowboys, turnover on downs in the red zone. Possession 8 for the Cowboys, Dak intercepted into double coverage by the Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu. Possession 9, turnover on downs. Possession 10, punt. Game over. About as demoralizing a performance you could have if you are the Dallas Cowboys. And if you have any thoughts, you have any comments, get them in right now. This is a safe space for Cowboys fans to react. Let all your frustrations out because this one was frustrating. This one was just tough, man. You do not expect the Cowboys to come out so flat like this at home in the home opener. You do not expect the defense to get shredded, reminiscent to saloon doors. Use whatever adjectives you want to describe the defense, but they were absolute dog crap. And it's going to be a rough week for the Cowboys. A lot of questions are going to have to be answered on that front because next week it doesn't get any easier. Next week you have the Baltimore Ravens going to stroll into town for a 3:30 kickoff. The Ravens are one of the best running teams in the past decade in the NFL. They consistently are up near the top in terms of rushing yards per season for a team. And the Dallas Cowboys, what they showed today, much of the same from last year. Not a lot of push from that interior defensive line. Not a lot of run stopping today. Kamara had his way and more with the Cowboys defense. And to me, when you see the same thing over and over and over again, it just becomes pure insanity. And I feel like I'm insane watching the Cowboys because this happens all the time. And I question myself. I really do question myself. Why do I do this? Why do we do this as Cowboy fans? Well, for one, because when the apple is bitten and it is what we want at the end of the season, it's going to be really sweet, right? But for two, it just seems like the Cowboys just always play inconsistent at just the times when you don't expect them to play inconsistent. You would expect the Cowboys to beat a Saints team. Yeah, the Saints put up a hell of a lot of yards and points against the Panthers last week. And you might say, well, it was the Panthers. They're really bad. But now you got to start saying, hell, the Saints might just be a really good team. The Saints might be a 10-7 type of team, an 11-6 type of team based on what we've seen with the revamp of the offense that Clint Kubiak, the offensive coordinator, has had. The Saints pushed the Cowboys around. It was a dominating offensive line performance from the Saints. There was little to no pass rush presence from the Cowboys. Micah Parsons' name was barely called. I might have heard Micah Parsons' name maybe once, twice. Other than that, there really was no pressure up front from any Cowboys defender at all. If you have comments, get them in. Let me know. I am going to be on here for about another 10 minutes or so. Going to keep this one kind of short, kind of sweet, but it is the Cowboys postgame show. The Cowboys do fall to the Saints 44-19. Cowboys are 1-1. Saints are 2-0. Cowboys must now face Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens next week in Jerry World with a 3:30 kickoff. And how am I feeling about that game 1 week out? Based on this performance, damn, it might be an ass kicking. It really, really might be an ass kicking. I know it's very knee-jerky. I know I'm flying off the cuff here. I'm very emotional with this post-game show, but you should be emotional as well. You should feel the same way I'm feeling if you're a Cowboys fan right now. Utter despair, demoralization, just a complete ineptitude from the Cowboys today to stop anybody who had the ball for the New Orleans Saints. And let's talk about the offense a little bit, right? Offense had its struggles, but the game plan was taken away early. When your defense is giving up 6 touchdowns in the first 6 possessions, you're going to take away that balanced attack that Dallas likes to produce. You're going to take away the run game, which was taken away. And even when the Cowboys did try to run, they didn't really produce anything. That running back room is going to be a problem in a bad way. It's not going to be great. Just a lot eye-opening today from the Cowboys' performance, eye-opening from the perspective of what is this team going to be going forward. You look at the Cowboys' schedule. Next week, right? Look at what they got coming up in the next few weeks and tell me how good you feel about the Cowboys' chances. Next week, Ravens at home, 3:30. Tough. You go on the road at the Giants on a short week on Thursday night. Off of the Ravens game, the Ravens are going to be physical. They're going to beat you the hell up. At the Giants, divisional game, never know. Thursday night, weird things happen. Following week, you have at the Steelers on Sunday Night Football. The Steelers are a physical team. Following week after that, you're home against the Lions. We know what the Lions are. We know what the Lions can be. Following week after that, you're at the 49ers. So within the next, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, within the next 5 weeks, you have to face the Ravens, Steelers on the road, Lions at home, 49ers on the road, with the Giants sandwiched in between the Ravens and Steelers game. That is potentially 3 to 4 losses right there. And you're looking at a start for the Cowboys season that could be disastrous. You're looking at a start for the Cowboys season with coaches on one-year contracts, with Jerry Jones maybe having a hair trigger this year because he expects a lot out of the Cowboys. It might be a season that could go down the drain based on this one performance. Saints 44, Cowboys 19. Dive into the chat. I'm about to read some of your comments right now. Aaron's in here. What's up, Aaron? Shout out to Tacos and Touchdowns. Make sure you check out his show. It's fantastic. Love the work that Aaron Ball produces. Aaron goes on to say, Cowboys defense took a midday nap all game. Yeah. I wish I took a nap during the Cowboys game. That would have been more productive than me watching that Cowboys performance. Aaron goes on to say the running game was lacking, and outside of Lamb and Cook, who's the next constant wide receiver? Because I don't see him. I don't see him either. Where was Tolbert? We saw Brooks. Can Brooks really be trusted? Tom Brady mentioned it on the broadcast. After Brooks fell, hard to trust that guy. Hard to trust that guy. When the quarterback is putting it on target, you fall, interception. Now, Dak did go back to him at least one time, I think. I'll check the stats here in a second. But other than Lamb, Cooks, who else? Ferg was out. That was probably big, right? Ferg is like a safety blanket. Ferg can stretch the field. Ferg can do things that some tight ends can't. Schoonmaker out there, okay, had a few catches, couple catches, looked all right. But they were missing Ferg a lot today. In my opinion. And who's going to be that number 2 receiver? That number 3 receiver? Cooks is good, but does Cooks really take away a lot of pressure from CeeDee Lamb when it's all said and done? I don't know. Let's go to JC. JC's in here. What's up, JC? JC says, we just got smacked at home. Crazy. Everyone was sleeping today. Embarrassing. Yeah, embarrassing. An embarrassing and pathetic performance from Dallas today. One that we've seen too often. One that we have seen pretty recently. Who remembers the Packers playoff game? Yeah, that happened in January. Yeah, that's the last time we saw the Dallas Cowboys at home in a game of consequence. That was an effort from the Cowboys that I can't ride with. I just can't. Let's see. Got some more comments in here. I'm going to try to get to all you guys. We got RJ in here. RJ says, go get 17 from Las Vegas. You're talking about Devontae, aren't you? That, hey, if miracles can happen, that'd be freaking fantastic. But I doubt Adams will be available. But hey, doesn't hurt to call, right? In a fanatical world, doesn't hurt to call. Doubt it happens though. Really doubt it happens. Let's go with Mark. Mark's in here. All right, Mark, got you. Mark says too much crap on Dak. He was playing well. Saints just beat us up. Overshown should have shadowed Kamara. Something different. Okay, interesting take right there. Yeah, people are going to put the game on Dak Prescott. I don't think Dak played half bad. I think towards the end of the game, you started seeing the Cowboys get in desperation mode. You started to see Dak take some chances on throws into double coverage, and he got burned on one of them, right? The Tyrann Mathieu one. You saw Dak throw a hospital ball to CeeDee Lamb in the end zone where he got absolutely smacked. Dak had to take chances because they were down so much. You have to get in the game somehow. You have to try to fight your way back. And whenever you're giving up 6 touchdowns and 6 possessions to the Saints, 5 touchdowns and 5 possessions in the first half, yeah, it's going to take away the game plan a little bit, and you're going to go into desperation mode. Look, Dak, 27 of 39, 239 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, right? That, look, could the offense have been better? Could the offense have scored more points instead of settling for field goals? Of course. Of course they can. But asking the offense to match touchdown for touchdown every single drive, when that usually isn't the norm in the NFL, you usually don't see teams scoring 6 touchdowns in their first 6 possessions. That can be a tough ask. And you look at what Dallas did today. Dallas in the red zone. Get this, 0 for 3. 0 for 3 in the red zone. Just not going to cut it. Dallas on third downs. Last week they went 4 for 14, and I criticized that, and I pointed that out, and I said the Cowboys needed to improve on third down conversions and stay out of third and longs. Today, Dallas 6 for 13 on third downs. Just wasn't there. Just was not there for the Dallas Cowboys. 353 total yards of offense, 68 rushing yards, 3.2 per attempt, 0 for 3 in the red zone. Cowboys penalized 4 times for 26 yards, 2 turnovers. Saints, 432 total yards, 7.7 per play. My goodness, at one point they were getting like 17 yards per play when they threw the graphic up on Fox, which was absolutely incredible. 242 passing yards, 190 rushing yards for the Saints. So, just a total beatdown. Just a total disaster of a game from the Cowboys, and I want to hear your comments. I'm going to go a few more minutes with this. Cowboys fall to the Saints 44-19. Cowboys fall to 1-1, and now Baltimore comes to town. How do you feel about Baltimore coming to town, Cowboys fans? How do you feel about that? Get in the chat. I want to hear from you guys out there. It's the Cowboys postgame show with yours truly, James Espinosa. All right, Ralph. What's up, Ralph? Ralph, good guy right there. Me and Ralph do chat Cowboys from time to time. I respect Ralph's perspective. Sometimes he offers a different perspective than I, but it's all good, right? I love different perspectives. That's what makes you better. That's what makes you wiser. Ralph is in here. Ralph says the defense made it tough on the offense, but this game feels like a continuation of the second half of last week's game. Can't get the ball into the end zone. Yes, Ralph. As I just pointed out, 0 for 3 on red zone attempts, 6 of 14 on third downs. 4 for 14 on third downs last week. Third down is a problem so far for the Dallas Cowboys team. You go 6 of 13, today. You go 4 for 14 last week. You are 10 of 27 through 2 games on third down conversions. You're getting behind the ball. The 8 ball, you're in third and long. You're taking penalties that put you in 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10. That's disastrous. That's disastrous. That is asking for chaos. That's asking for it. And it's not going to be a good result. And we saw it there today. Cowboys couldn't muster really anything on offense on third down or in the red zone. David's in here. What's up, David? David says, defense is suspect. Zimmer didn't adjust. Offense had some miscues, but this loss is on the defense. Dak had 2 interceptions, one of which is his fault for forcing it. But can't blame them with how down they were. And I agree with you on that, right? Look, the double coverage interception was pretty bad. That was a bad throw. That was a risky throw, high risk, and Dak had to pay for that. The Cowboys paid for that one. Double coverage, tried to fit it into CD. Matthews there for the interception, right? Yeah, I will say that was a bad throw by Dak. Bad throw, but desperate times call for desperate measures when you're down by, 20-something points at the time that the interception happened. So, yeah, I mean, look, offense needs to be better. But today, if you're going to look at one unit and say, damn, what the hell happened? It's the defense. It is the defense by freaking far. 6 touchdowns on the first Saints 6 possessions of this game. The Cowboys didn't force a punt. The defense didn't force a punt until 9:43 of the fourth quarter. Woo, that's rough. That is rough, folks. 44-19 Saints over the Cowboys in what I would say is a shocking result. One that I definitely didn't see coming, one that my Sports Rush crew did not see coming. Alvin Kamara on the ground, 20 carries, 115 yards, 5.8 per carry, 3 touchdowns. The Saints as a team, 190 yards on the ground, 4.9 per average per carry. Whoa, boy. Whoa, boy. That is tough, man. That's disastrous. I mean, what do we expect going forward? What do we expect going forward, right? How will the Cowboys adjust to this? How will the Cowboys take this loss? This could be something that compounds into next week against the Ravens. And now this Ravens game early on, you're 1-1 in the season, could be a big swing game in terms of how things proceed for the rest of the season for the Dallas Cowboys. 44-19 Saints over the Cowboys. It's the Cowboys postgame show with James Espinosa. Make sure, guys, to please share the video. Please like the video. All that good stuff. It will help me grow the show a little bit, grow the exposure a little bit. I just want to talk Cowboys with you, and I'm going to give you my fan/media perspective on the Cowboys, and I'm going to keep it honest with you. The one thing I will always do with you, I will always be honest with my opinions. I will not hold back. I will keep it raw. I'll keep it real. I'm not going to sugarcoat. I'm not going to kiss the blue ass of the Cowboys. I do not wear blue shaded glasses. I call it out when it needs to be called out, right? And I think a lot of people, there are some people in this fan base who don't want to blame the Cowboys for anything or don't want to criticize the Cowboys because they think it makes you less of a fan. I think it makes you less of a fan if you do not have any criticisms of your team at any point in time. It actually makes you more of a rational fan and a logical fan when you do criticize the team because you want better. So don't be one of those fans that is not critical and just an ass kiss. Be a fan that's willing to question. Be a fan that's willing to look at the negatives and how this team can improve. Cowboys postgame show, James Espinosa, 44-19. What else do we have to look at here? Let's talk about just, I don't know, man. All of it's bad. All of it's bad. Let's look at some halftime numbers here, right? The 35 points allowed by Dallas at the half tied for the most points given up in the first half of a game in Dallas Cowboys history. Literally, a historically pathetic performance. By far, pathetic performance. The Saints averaged about 12 yards per play at the half. Cowboys at the half were allowing 24 yards per completion. My God, dude. My God. Didn't really take much notes in the second half. You saw Zach Martin go down in the fourth. Ended up back in the game. Kind of questionable as to why he needed to go back in the game at that point. The game was already well at hand at 41-19, but he went back in there, right? We'll see, right? He was evaluated for a knee injury. Hopefully that's nothing too persistent over the course of the season, but Zach is getting long in the tooth, so that's something to monitor going forward. 2 interceptions for Dak Prescott. It's the first game with 2 interceptions and 14 starts for Dak. So to the Dak crowd out there that says he throws nothing but interceptions and multiple game interceptions, it hadn't happened in 14 starts. Let's not forget Dak Prescott did have an MVP caliber season last year, finished second in the voting, but 2 interceptions today for Dak. We did see Cooper Rush today, but not in mop-up duty. In mop-up duty, but simply for the fact that the Cowboys waved the white flag. And I said today on my show, I told my guys, Aiden, Marcos, and Alex, I said the Cowboys would win by 20. I said we would see Cooper Rush today. I was wrong by the Cowboys winning on 20. But I was right on seeing Cooper Rush. So there we go. At least I got the Cooper Rush part right. Get your final comments in. I want to hear from you guys in the chat. Final comments in. I'm going to be wrapping up this video here in a couple of minutes' time. Cowboys lose to the Saints 44-19, 1-1 on the season. They got the Ravens next week. America's Game of the Week. Tom Brady will be back on America's Game of the Week. Wow, 3 straight games with Brady. The first 3 games of Brady's career are Dallas Cowboys games. Get used to it, Cowboys fans. Brady will be calling a lot of games to come here in the future. Quick Brady aside, I thought he did a lot better today. I thought Tom Brady was a lot more comfortable today. He was actually sounding good. He was breaking down the game. He was giving quarterback perspective. He was giving what the defense was showing out there. I thought Tom Brady, as a broadcaster, and as a media man myself, I thought Tom Brady did a lot better today than last week. My cousin Marcus is in here. Marcus says, come on. My cousin Marcus is a Saints fan, so congratulations to your Saints, Marcus. 44-19, Saints whoop the Cowboys' ass. I had a Facebook post on my page, right? And I asked y'all guys to chime in on describing the Cowboys' defense in one word. So I'm going to go ahead and read some of the some of the words y'all guys used to describe the Cowboys defense. Leanna posted, describe the Cowboys defense in one word, caca. Marcelano, Charlie, my boy Charlie, he said cheeks. My boy Bubba described the Cowboys defense in one word as cooked. Oren described the Cowboys defense as lost. My brother Jacob so eloquently described the Cowboys defense in one word as shit. Excuse my language. My boy Omar described them as fired. Raymond, Mr. Mendez, my former band director, described them as absent. Ryan described them as exposed. Destriana had a couple of words to say. She said embarrassing, non-existent. Mike described the Cowboys defense as exposed. Roel described the Cowboys defense as baked. Adrian described it as trash. Joshua described it as ass. Ruben says the boys look like shit. Charlie says predictable. Rudy says terrible. Anthony says Bantha Poodoo. That's funny, Anthony. Caitlin says happiness. She's not a Cowboys fan, so she's happy about this. Aaron says trash. Andres says garbage. Kathleen says poo. Hunter says AWOL. And Andy says inconceivable. Some nice adjectives to describe the lackluster performance of the Dallas Cowboys defense. So there we go. Wanted to read those out. Shout out to you guys who participate on the questions I ask out there on my page. And shout out to you guys who got into the chat today. Remember, make sure to share the video. I really would appreciate that. I also have a podcast, James Talks Cowboys. I'll post the YouTube link right in here. I'll post the podcast link in here as well. Dropping Cowboys content on the weekly, doing a live post-game show for you Cowboys fans after each and every Cowboys game. Final score, the Cowboys fall to the Saints 44-19. Embarrassing, pathetic, listless, lackluster. All the adjectives in the world to describe a horrible performance from Dallas today. They fall to 1-1, and now the Ravens come to town. All right, that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for my post-game show. Saints 44, Cowboys with a pathetic showing. Saints 44, Cowboys 19. Make sure to like, share, comment on this page. I really would appreciate it from all of y'all. Follow my podcast on all streaming platforms, James Talks Cowboys, and follow my YouTube channel, Sports Rush Media. All right, that wraps up the postgame show. Final score, once again, the Cowboys fall to the Saints 44-19. I'll talk to you guys down the road. Have a great rest of your Sunday.